I come straight from work. I got concrete all over my pants.
Well, concrete all over your pants is a good thing. You got that.
Yeah,
let's run a pre-show here. All right, got to get the shit out of our system. This is a pre-show here on the Rants of Izzo on Spreely Media. Had way too much coffee today and caffeine and all that great stuff. Appreciate you guys joining us. It is Wednesday. If you're affected by Mercury retrograde like the rest of us, shit and shove me in it. A couple different ways to go ahead and support Spreely.com is you go to Spreely.com and you check out all the other shows on there, like the Burn Pit podcast, who we have sitting in on Wednesday, which is today with us, The Dumb Show, Shannon Joy Show, Report and Opine, Wake Up America, all that good stuff. There's also a full free speech platform on there. You could say Michelle Obama's got a giant cock and never worry about any. You could say COVID was a lie. You could say the 2020 election was stolen. It's never going to be censored. Simple as that. It's Spreely.com. Start socializing on the bottom. You missed a podcast, you missed an episode of something, go to Spreely.com, check it all out. Sounds good to you? Sounds good to me. End of story. Other than that, share the show. You guys like what we do? This is a stream of consciousness show. We talk about everything from porn to politics. Then share the show. Tell people about it. Enjoy it. Go out there and say, this guy's an ass. I don't like what he has to say. And incidentally, if you don't like what I have to say, aside from going and fucking your mother, there's a rant line, 708-982-0974. That's 708-982-0974. If you want to call and say, you're so unprofessional, I don't know why you do this, then fucking call and say it. Leave a voicemail, voice note, text message. We read them on air. Be anonymous, be whatever, be public. We really don't care. End of story. All right, you guys want to do a show together?
Let's do it.
Fucking all right. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and just shit all over the place here together.
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your host, Dominic Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
All right, happy Wednesday. Rants of Izzo Show here on Spreely Media. And yes, Mercury retrograde is still affecting us. If you don't believe in that shit, man, I'm sorry. Put the horoscope down out of the newspaper, if people still read that. Go outside, take a look. Mercury retro. No, you don't have to. Your computer will be all fucked up and everything. Joining me today are two racists from the Burn Pit podcast. Is that fair to call you guys racist now?
I think we don't have a choice. I think no matter what you think nowadays and you're white, you are a racist. So
you guys are blowing up on the internet. It's almost like we're going head to head, where last month I was featured on the Hodge Twins, and just a couple days ago, you guys were featured on the Hodge Twins. Do you care to talk about why you were featured on the Hodge Twins show?
Sure. Yeah. We had a TikTok that was posted from a podcast that we did on our live show at airs 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spreely TV. That's their home for free speech. So we posted this clip on TikTok it got some traction right away, and then people started stitching it. And people don't know what stitch is. So when you can take the clip and it can be behind a person, they can comment on it, they can use it. So people were stitching it, and it got to the point where the Hodge Twins got a hold of it, and they did a piece on their podcast on Friday, I believe it was.
Yes, correct.
So, yeah, and since then, we've had some incidences with some things. And Dominic, if you wouldn't mind if I took just 2 minutes to make a disclaimer, if that's okay.
Yes. Do you want me to, do you want me to play the clip that people are stitching, or do you prefer they go listen to your show to find that out for themselves?
No, please play whatever you want.
I'm gonna clip. The clip you sent me by the very angry African American man? Is that the clip that you want me to play? Like not his parts.
No, the original one is on TikTok.
Yeah, I thought you would play the original clip of what they were mad about.
Okay, let me look at that TikTok. I'm going to TikTok now.
Well, while you're finding it, real quick, just want to make a disclaimer here. You know, we've had certain individuals that have actually come to the studio that we use to confront us, to address the clip itself, really without probably looking at the whole context of the clip. But for the record, the studio that we use does not share the same views that we do. For the disclaimer, we rent space, rent equipment. The studio here is very, very great, a great studio. They put up with us, really. It's Studio Me here in Pittsburgh, PA, East Liberty. Again, our views aren't their views. All we do is rent space. So that's it. And our previous guests have gotten messages. You know, we have had everybody on our recorded episodes, from finance, business, entrepreneurs, politicians, sports, and we've had women, different races, it doesn't matter. And of course, they're getting messages now like, how could you sit across from these bigots, these racists? How could you be on their show? So I apologize to any previous guests that are catching any flack because of a 30-second clip that got put onto TikTok. I apologize for that. And our previous guests don't espouse our views either. Maddie and I speak for ourselves. Period. End of story. It's the Burn Pit Podcast. Our live shows are political every Monday at 4 p.m. on Spoolie TV. Our recorded episodes can be anything, again, from sports to finance, to you name it. So that's all I have to say about that. And I appreciate you letting me take the time to make that disclaimer, Dominic. But if you found the clip on TikTok, I think it's pinned at the top of
it is. It's fantastic. Page. You've got some people defending you too, as well, who are black, by the way. But this is from the Burn Pit Podcast.
Like the Hodge
I'll say this is like the Hodge twins. You do have that. This should, for our audience, this really should be like zero surprise. I mean, both Scott and Matt are just they're that's why we have them on, is because they speak their fucking mind. So I listened to this. I had no problem with it. Neither should you. And let's listen together.
Why don't you build your own country? You didn't fucking build our country. You didn't build shit. Some of you worked here, yeah, but you didn't build. If that was the case, then you could build your own shit in your own country. Look at Africa. How great is that built? Tell me how great that's built over there. Wow. It's a economic powerhouse over there, isn't it? Greatest standard of living on the planet.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Didn't even invent the wheel until the 1900s.
Well, you look at what a free market does for a country. The United States is, the founding is nothing short of a miracle, and because of that, the free market, you've been able to have some innovation that has changed the world.
What did you say that was so offensive? I don't get it.
Well, first of all, Dominic, I do wish to issue an apology to fucking nobody.
Thank
you don't like the clip, don't watch it. You don't like our podcast, don't watch it. I'm not apologizing to anybody ever for anything that I say. You got a problem with that? Then you can message me. We can meet up. Go ahead, Dominic.
This stemmed. All of us are the same relative age. I don't know if do you remember? I specifically remember in grammar school when the word being called a racist had power. And what did we do? We backpedaled. Oh, you're a racist. No, I'm not a racist. And you would backpedal. That's where we're at today, where people are not used to, go fuck yourself when you call me a racist. Scott was on both of you were on with me the 2 weeks ago, where I played the clip of the woman who wanted the reparations for her church, and I went off on that shit. I've got so many clips out there saying the same damn thing, which is why when I heard what you said, I went, I don't hear a problem with what he's saying. I am tired, and I almost commented on the idiot who, Scott, you sent me today, his stitch. I almost commented on his stuff, but I didn't want to give him the attention of, I don't care whose contribution are to whatnot. I'm tired of every time you turn around, any contribution, it's, well, blacks wrote country music. Blacks did this. Blacks came up with this. I don't care. I do not care. The fact that it's incessantly forced down my throat on a daily basis is where I'm like, no, I'm not racist, but I fucking hate you. And I'm tired of this shit. So I'm tired of being punished for this stuff. I saw nothing. I heard nothing that was wrong with what you said, because are other countries even remotely economically thriving the way ours are that are from this issue? Because I don't see it.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Matt and I are coming for the narratives. These narratives that are out there that everybody seems to want to follow and kowtow because someone calls you a bad name. We're coming for that. And we're not going to allow that to go on, at least on our podcast and the way we discuss things. So you can call us whatever you want. And if you want to come and confront us here, that's fine. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, we don't walk in together. We're not worried about anybody. You know, Matt shows up and, you know, he's always wearing protective devices, you know. So, but here's the thing. If you want to confront us, whether it's 2-on-1, 3-on-1, or 5-on-1, you know, if you come from Matty Whack, you're all going to need 911. The bottom line here.
Yeah. I need to reiterate what he said and to what you said, Dominic. Everybody does backpedal to that word because, to your point, it was an effective strategy to call people racist, and it was even written in a book, as you may even know. The book is one of Hillary Clinton's mentors, called "Rules for Radicals" by Saul Alinsky, who he dedicated that book to Lucifer, actually.
Oh, wow.
And one of the rules in there was to call your people or call your opponents a racist or accuse them of doing exactly what you're doing. G. Edward Griffin said the same thing in the 60s. He said, call them a racist, call them an anti-Semite, call them a Nazi. All you have to do is call them these bad names, and exactly what you said, Dominic, they backpedal and now they're on defense.
Because why?
People have to stop because they lose their job, lose relationships, lose friends, lose your bank account, you name it, whatever the case. It does have consequences because of the media controls that narrative, and especially against white people. And if anybody wants to challenge me or debate me on this, I can prove it to you.
You don't need to.
Nobody's called a racist unless you're white. That's all there is to it.
We know
That's
that.
pretty much it. And basically, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the issue is because we were robbed of the fundamental ability to exercise classical conditioning. You look at all the way back when the gunslinger age, right? Tombstone, and how we all love that, where if you insulted me, you could literally I could literally shoot you, right? So the problem I have is we were taught, turn the other cheek, be a gentleman. Oh, be Christ-like is turn the other cheek. If we still had in the 1980s, you call me a racist on the playground, and the next thing is you're picking up your fucking teeth because I'm not a racist, it wouldn't happen. But for some, we pussified a culture to now you're a racist, you're a fascist, you're a Nazi. You call me a Nazi, and if you really look at the foundation of that word that goes back to the association to these Jew killing, that's another topic. I don't want Stu Peters to show up out of nowhere. 6 million people coming up out of fucking nowhere issue. I'm going to belt you in the fucking chops, but we can't do that. Can't do that because you go ahead and strike somebody, you're arrested. Well, they just called you Nazi. You got to deal with it. Name shouldn't hurt you. That's the problem.
Well, again, you know, there's hate speech laws. Okay. You have this, the DEIs now in businesses. They've accepted all of this. Corporations have accepted it. You have hate speech laws across the board in multiple different states. You can be criminalized for just speaking in different places, you know, depending on where you're at. You can be fired from your job. That's why people went on the defense. They don't want to lose that. There is no consequence to be anti-racist. You don't lose anything for being anti-racist, right? For being racist, and this is just being called that, you lose everything or could potentially lose everything. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, addressing the clip specifically there that Matt did, people take a clip, they take a 30-second clip, and they take it out of context. Of course, they're not going to go and watch the entire episode. They're not going to go back to Spreely TV, which they should. Go to Spreely TV and watch it. The context of that the whole clip was this. I asked Matt how he felt about Joe Biden's State of the Union address and how Joe Biden said that migrants and immigrants were not only fueling the economy, but they helped build this country. And I said, what do you think about that, Matt? And he gives his response. Now, he brought up Africa as an example of countries, but of course, people killed him on that. They're like, it's a continent, not a country. But the point was, he could have used any country in South America too, and had that as an example of them. Why not? Why wouldn't they want to stay there and build their own country? If they built this place, why can't you build your own country there? It's a fair point, but the sensitivity of it is what I actually found kind of interesting, was because here in culture, recent pop culture, you have the news now that Romeo and Juliet will be a mixed race couple now. You have the Little Mermaid, who's now African American or black, and you have all these different Disney characters being replaced by blacks. And when white people go, why are they, taking this carry? And the response that you get from the woke community is, well, your white fragility is showing, your sense of your white fragility. But imagine on the flip side of that, even this comment where Matt, in that clip, we don't mention black people once. Of course, we say, he says Africa, but this was about immigrants and about migrants. But the fragility they hear, we can't say black fragility. They got real sensitive because we said this thing. Yeah. Imagine replacing Black Panther with like Ryan Gosling.
Why not?
Another.
Why not? Their argument is always
was like Christian
right.
Bale.
Hey, let's replace Kunta Kinte with Ben Shapiro.
No, I said that's my role.
So
yeah, that's my role. I said that a million. Their argument is always, well, 007 or anybody else you're replacing is not a real character, because they wanted to do Superman years ago and replace him as black, and people outraged. But of course now Superman's son is gay, so we have that going on. So why can't you switch Black Panther to whatnot and a white guy? I have no problem with like. I am a big period piece guy. I love watching movies and shows, not lately, that are period piece based. And what do they have on like Brigadoon on Netflix? And I'm like, I'm not fucking watching this, because they had European royalty as black. And I'm like, when we're altering, you want so badly for people to correct the historical Jesus and say, he wasn't a white guy. Yeah, we know he wasn't a white guy. So why is it that history only applies for like their side of it, but when it comes on the other side of it, you got to insert all this shit? You're devaluing the culture. I don't want and I'll try to say this without sounding too scumbaggish. If my culture from Italy, which I don't care about, right? If all of a sudden somebody says Italian Americans built this country, and I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm like, yeah, great that they did. I had no part of it. I was born here. I don't take sensitivity over those issues and reflect all the way back to where they came from, to the motherland, and say all of a sudden you got to respect them. But if you're going to take, I don't know, the Cosa Nostra and their origins out of Sicily, and then insert the way, well, the Moors, because we all saw True Romance. The blacks went into Sicily and they did so much fucking that blonde hair, blue eye turned to black skin, and dark hair. Okay, now you're going to get like Al Capone in the new video turned black. I'm like, why? Why do you want to saturate black culture, dilute it so much across the board to where it devalued where it came from? Because I don't think they've thought about this. If their basis is on struggle, being taken, overcoming, being oppressed, overcoming, and then now you're going to change it all to like, it's all over the place. The black culture has been in Europe. They were in Scandinavia. They were at the North Pole, all this. Don't you think that 3-4 generations from now, their story is going to be so unimpressive? Because wait a second, all we've ever grown up with is black people all over the place. They're in all the commercials, all the mixed couples on TV, all the mainstream movies. I think they're backfiring this shit, and they're taking away their biggest commodity, which is supply and demand. They're in more demand because their story is so limited. Well, now you're going to saturate it all over the place. Fuck, you're not special. There's nothing special about you. So keep doing this shit as far as I'm concerned. They're making themselves normal, and there's going to be no value in what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I doubt that, there you can find me history of black Vikings, and I've seen shows and things like that where that's the case. They're just I don't know. I look at all that. It's
well, you can make the argument it's anti-white because now you're erasing white people.
Well, nobody cares about that.
That's the facts.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Well, my point is, you can basically say that that's what it is. If you're removing white people, and it's not just blacks, you have all different types of minorities, and you also have homosexual LGBT community. Supergirl or Superwoman in the Netflix series, I believe, is a transsexual.
Oh, geez.
I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
Well, my point is, you keep pushing.
There's an agenda.
Everything that is not American, not that nostalgic America, that culture, Western culture in general. Western culture is white Europeans. That's just what it is. Europe was white. Everyone's considered white. Germany, France, Scandinavia, even Spain is European. They're considered white. Portuguese, all these people, Irish, English,
Scottish.
You erase all that. And what do they do into these countries, Dominic? Importing migrants.
Well,
Australia, Canada, all European countries. Okay, China isn't taking these people in.
Dude,
Russia's not taking these people. Israel sure as fuck ain't taking any of them in.
This is what we need to do.
Taking them in.
You need to take historical figures of other cultures and just destroy it. You need to do like the next Bruce Lee movie needs to be played by a fucking black guy. Needs to be like fucking, it's not Bruce Leroy, it's Bruce Lee. And it's like, no, why can't we just culturally appropriate the Asian? We had historical facts that there were black men who built the Great Wall of China back in whatever Dong Empire it was. Then you need to have Rasputin. Or wait, was Rasputin black? I don't know.
Rasputin was from Russia. He was not. He was
a
monk under the Tsar Nicholas.
Well, why can't he be a black guy?
Why can't the Tsar be? How about Lenin? Let's do Lenin and Stalin.
God. Because the Tsar was killed. The Tsar was killed and overthrown by the Bolsheviks, and the Bolsheviks were 90% Jewish, and it was an anti-white Christian movement, the Bolshevik Revolution. And that's just a hospital, so they'll never have a black person do that.
But a question here is, when you look at China, they actually, when they put movies out over there on the movie posters, they remove black people from movie posters.
Oh yeah.
And also, in China, they label homosexuality as a mental disorder.
Yep.
So I'm curious as to why the left liberal movement, the pro-LGBTQ, the Black Lives Matter, why don't they go for China?
Because they don't know about it. They don't know about it. Their base is ignorant people who just don't know shit, and they're fed what they're told. They don't know. For the love of God, it's kind of parallel, but it's the stupidity of it. I listened to both. I don't know if it wasn't Maxine Waters. It was another black senator, and it was Sonny hosting both talk about the eclipse as if it was just the stupid. Well, Sonny talked about the eclipse being from climate change and this and that shit. The problem is anybody who says anything on the left, they believe it. They believe it. So if they say China is going to come in and usher an era of world peace, cure all cancer, their model of socialism is going to come in and you're all going to be happy. Okay, that's great. No, they don't. They don't condemn homosexuality. Okay, they don't. These people it's the passive life of just bliss. Whatever you tell them, they take over themselves like a warm blanket with no discernment, no education. They believe whatever the fuck. That's why, you know what? I need to date a liberal girl to tell her I'm hung with 9 inches. She'll believe me.
The right can do that too sometimes. They just regurgitate talking points from Sean Hannity and anybody they see on Fox News. And my liberal friends, I have you right, Dominic. They absolutely just get fed from the screen. This is what we believe today. This is what the topic is today. This is the grievance today. And they just regurgitate. Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, you name it. They just will regurgitate the same talking points instead of actually doing the research and taking for themselves and trying to figure out what the truth is. That's ultimately what we try to get to there on the Burn Pit podcast on Spreely TV every Monday at 4 p.m. Yep. We're trying to get to the truth, as uncomfortable it may be. as how alarming it may be for some, the truth is often painful for some. Yeah, most times.
Yep.
But,
I don't know anymore. If you could, what characters, what historical figures would you blackwash just to see people fucking lose their minds?
What historical figures would I turn black?
Yeah.
Winston Churchill.
Okay.
Number one.
Right.
Who else would I turn black? Scotty Sievert.
Oh, Hitler. Fucking Hitler. Dude.
No.
Yes. Dude, that would make them go, wait a second, what? No, you need, motherfucking Hitler with a tiny little
and I would
fro
have Jamie Lee
mustache.
Fox play him.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, people should look into what Jesse Owens thought about Adolf Hitler.
Black
Jesse Owens, for
Hitler.
those who don't know who Jesse Owens is, Jesse Owens was a Olympic sprinter that ran the Olympics when Germany hosted.
Yeah.
And in his some of his book diaries that he wrote,
Autobiography.
He said that he got treated better in Germany than he did in the States. That one of the first people to actually shake Jesse Owens' hand and congratulate him was actually Hitler. And when he would go out in the streets, the Germans would...
He didn't shake his hand, he waved to him.
Okay, yeah. But then in the streets,
he said that people would hound him for his autograph, and he actually had to change hotels because he was getting harassed, not in a negative way, in a positive way, to get his autograph and being thanked by the German people. I can't believe how racist they were asking for his autograph.
Hold on, who was the president at that time in the United States?
FDR didn't even send him a telegram and snubbed him. Jesse Owens writes about this in his own autobiography. That's E.B. Du Bois. He was a black civil rights leader who went over to Germany and even said that he was treated better over there than he was back at home in America.
We bring the knowledge here. We bring the heat. It's uncomfortable. Like it, love it, learn to live with it.
And of course, you weren't taught that on the History Channel. That's weird. They didn't put that on there, Scott.
They don't put on the
That's interesting.
Another character. Dominic asked a question. Another character would you black?
Dominic, who made black?
It would 100% be Black Hitler number one. Black Hitler is a big time one. Who would I blackwash? Shit.
I like the Winston Churchill one. That was good.
It's got Harvey Milk. 100% Harvey Milk.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Because he's the gay revolutionist. Why not? Just put it, and then watch them backpedal. We don't want to sit there and be associated with him. Wait a second. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Come on, Harvey Milk stood up for all the gays. Got to do that one. Who else should I? John Wayne Gacy.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. No, I don't know if I want to get gay or not, man. I don't know if I give up Freddie Mercury. I like that one. No, they've had.
I'm trying to stick to the gay theme.
Yeah. No, I think John Wayne Gacy. That would be something.
Oh, yeah, you dressed like a clown, though.
Yeah. A lot of pancake would need to cover that up.
Bill Clinton. I'd probably do Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Have you seen Monica Lewinsky lately, though? She's kind of hot.
Yeah, she's looking good, taking care of herself.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a good-looking woman. Yeah. I don't know
anyway,
about. Yeah. Well,
with
that's
that, hey,
no.
Thanks for sharing that clip, Dominic, and thank you also to the Hodge twins. If they see this, we've sent them a clip or two, and my brother-in-law Bryce Mitchell is actually joining their show on Thursday
tomorrow.
Yes, that's right. So he'll be on their show, and maybe they'll talk about us. We'll see. If they do, I'll share some stuff with you too, Dominic, on that behind in the DMs. I'll send you some stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, we need to start a blackwashing thing. There needs to be some young filmmaker who does the whole Black Hitler shit, because you've had, I never saw it on Netflix, but anytime like Christ, there was Black Jesus on a Netflix thing. I think I saw. So we've had that. I think you need to have a Black Jesus or Black Hitler. And that'd be interesting with.
I don't think they would ever do black. I don't want to take a villain, like a character who's a villain. And do that with black.
Wait a second.
Predominantly,
according to people like Stu Peters, was he a villain though?
Well, I mean, how many books have you read about Adolf Hitler?
None for the Sears, and I will tell you
Seriously, how many books?
I will tell you why I've never read one, and this is why. And I'm going to be 100% honest. About 30 years ago, so clearly before the internet, I was almost my 20s. Shit, I was 19. I had heard people were talking about the fact that Hitler was not the bad guy. And the conversation I remember hearing was along the lines of what he was truly trying to stop. I will tell you flat out, I purposely avoided researching any of that subject for the simple fact of back then, I didn't want to be flagged to go into the library and pulling out a book like that got the FBI looking at me. So I was very curious about what their argument was. And I'm hearing it a lot more now lately. I just don't like the way it's presented, and that's why I give Stu so much shit, because he is a fucking
right.
Yeah. If you told me this is what Hitler was trying to stop,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you told me this is legitimately what Hitler was trying to stop, I would listen to it. I just can't stand the way their side is presenting it. That's all.
Oh no, I agree. I've listened to Stu Peters, and regardless of what he says being true or not, I do agree that sometimes he does present it in a way that I would not want to present it, or to your point, somebody would be listening to him and get turned off by the way he presents it and packages it. I can understand that. But that being said, I'm just saying, if someone's going to blackwash through Hollywood, I don't think they would do a character like him. It would only be positive characters. To your point, Jesus. They've done the Greek mythological character Achilles, right? Who even had blonde hair. It was even written in the Iliad. You have other historical figures, like what's some other ones they made? I think they're doing James Bond now. They're going to try and do that. They're trying to do multiple superhero characters that way. Even though they're fictional, there's still a certain race, whether it's white or not. So to your point, I don't know if they would do a villain character, because then if they did that, you'd be called a racist for doing that.
You can't. Here's the main. You can't do Adolf Hitler because he'd be too afraid of watching Eva Braun fuck the German Shepherd. So nothing. No, nobody. A little uncomfortable in here. All right.
Wouldn't they just make her black too? Wouldn't they make her a trainee?
I don't know on that one.
They would just make everybody a different ethnicity and sexual orientation. I think
it's all fucked up. It's just all fucked up like crazy. Holy shit!
When the Hot Twins featured you, what was the clip that they looked at?
So they played the clip of what is it? Me debating Dr. Rashad Ritchie on the Black National Anthem being racist.
Oh yeah, I saw that clip.
Yeah, and the problem I have, they agreed with it, with my point of view. Here's the biggest problem I have with these people is I honestly think that the people on the left, they play the part. I don't know people like obviously Tucker Carlson or Hannity or whatnot. I don't know if after the camera's off and the mic is off, they're like, man, these conservatives are all fucked up. But I think for the most part, the smaller people who are putting out content like us, we are exactly who we say we are. Dr. Rashad Ritchie, both him and that Cenk, I can never pronounce his right name, Younger or Uger, whatever his name is, from the Young Turks. He
went on a show, the Young Turks.
Right. Here's the problem. If I had met them in public, I would sit and have a cigar with both of them prior to both shows, because I went in just ready to be a fucking full-on defensive, this and that stuff, because I had exposure to Vice News, and Vice News had me on for a QAnon documentary. They took 2 hours of content that I said and edited it into 5 minutes that made me look like a transphobic racist, which if you don't know anything about me, one of my best friends is Lola Christina, and I jack off to more fucking Vanessa Blue and Diamond Jackson porn than I care to admit publicly. So racist, transphobic, go fuck yourself. But anyways, after I had that exposure, I'm like, man, all right, whatever. I'm going to be guarded. Cenk was just like, dude, you're a damn cool guy. Before the recording of the show, And after the recording the show, he was, hey, listen, I appreciate your views. I don't agree with you on this, and we're going to talk about this, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, man, maybe he's trying to disarm me, whatever. We had our debate, had our discussion. At the end of it, he was like, hey, that was good stuff. I appreciate you coming on. You know, clearly, we don't see eye to eye on things. And I was like, wow, you present this like this? Like you're a gentleman about disagreeing. I actually like you. But then his character is just this over-the-top fucking insane guy. Rashad Ritchie was the same thing. Rashad Ritchie came on beforehand. We talked for about 10 minutes before we went on. And I'm like, he's a likable guy. Then he starts to hit the record button, turns into a fucking cocksucker that tries to get me. All right, great. Afterwards, the camera and mic is off. He's a likable guy. I'm like, so I fucking hate these guys who do these shows that are not the authentic person who they are off air as they are on air. So, yeah, fuck Dr. Rashad Ritchie and Jenk. Fuck them both.
Yeah, they do put on, it's a persona they do for the camera. We, of course, do not do that, Maddie. We're the genuine article here.
Yeah.
You know, we say it how it is. Whether the camera's rolling or not, we'd be sitting here having the same conversation about the same things.
Yep.
And I know, Dominic, you're the same way. I've spoken with you off the phone. Obviously, we've done multiple podcasts together. There's no fakeness. There's no facade. You are who you are. And it comes across. It does. For those listening, watching the Rants of Izzo show today, Dominic is the genuine article. He is who he is. He puts himself out there, unabashed, unashamed. He is unfazed by what people say, and that's where we're at too. We're unaffected and unfazed by any of these comments. People talking to us about this stuff, calling us names.
I actually like. I mean, again, all publicity is good publicity. I love it. I mean, I think it's a good thing. I don't even see it as a negative.
I feel kind of bad for our previous guests. They were like, oh crap, now we're getting messages sent our way or whatever. But other than that, that's why we just want to say none of our previous guests take the views that we take. Obviously, some of the guests we sat down with, plenty of great guests. So we just want to put that out there.
All right. Let's go a different direction real quick. I want to get your opinion on something else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, please. We're on that.
I'll stick with this one because I've been on this kick lately. I'm blown away, and Matt, you and we've talked about this several times. Cops and the Constitution, and I know that it's something that you're really passionate about. I put up a poll yesterday on all my social media platforms of whether or not people think that cops have the authority to base their citation issuances off of a driver's attitude. The overwhelming amount of people who voted yes, they do, unbelievably shocked me. And yesterday, because of Mercury retrograde, our live feed was knocked out, so I went online and I pulled up, I tried to pull up line, forums from like policeforum.com or police1.com, and I saw a question that was simply posed as, does attitude equal like citation? And all the way back from 2000, 2001, I was reading the responses of cops who openly admit on the forum that people have talked themselves into a ticket. Matt, you're extremely well-versed in the Constitution. Am I wrong by saying that this is my stance, and I can't wrap my head around it. If I stop you for a traffic violation, speeding, failure to use signal, whatever it is, turning left, and I get up to the car, if you're pregnant, not you, whatever, if you're driving a woman to the hospital and I choose to let you go, I'm not basing the citation off of your words or your attitude, but the actions that are in the car. There's a additional circumstance to that, right? If you're bleeding out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you don't talk to me, if you say go fuck yourself, if you say whatever, blah, 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 or hey, you know what? Why'd you pull me over today? Or even if you're super nice to me, and then I base my citation off of the exchange I have with you, did I violate your First Amendment? Or do cops have the responsibility and the right to change your behavior based on their interaction with you? Am I off base? I did the job for a very long time. I will die on this hill. That's my opinion. But constitutionally wise, I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, that's a tough question because it would be based on a case-by-case basis. Here's what I'm trying to say.
Is this something for like failure to cooperate? So they could get you on
no, that's Pennsylvania versus Pennsylvania versus memes. They could pull you out of the car. I'm simply asking, you do 30 over. The way that I used to avoid this problem was, unless there was a situation that was in the car that would change it, right? I was writing a ticket no matter what, to be fair. Okay, you're going to get, and I would tell you, this was my thing all the time. Hey, Matt, I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. Dude, you got a heavy foot, man. Listen, this is what I'm going to do. Give me your license and insurance. I know I pulled you over. I know you got somewhere to be. I tried to always de-escalate, make sure that people knew that I was inconveniencing them. And whatever I was going to do, if I made up my mind, warning or citation, I told them, I'm going to issue a citation, but listen, I'm going to tell you how to get out of it, okay? So give me about 10 minutes. I'll be right back. That's how I always did it. If it was a verbal warning, I made them sure it goes nothing on your record. You could throw it out the window when you get to the next town. I don't care. But if you look at me, start sucking your teeth, and you go, what the fuck did you pull me over for? And now all of a sudden it's speeding, but I go back to the car and I write you for failure to signal, changing lanes. You didn't wear your seatbelt. I look for every call, pissing off the police ticket. Did I violate your civil rights?
Technically speaking, if you're making stuff up, then yes. If he was speeding and it is proven he's speeding through camera or whatever, then the guy, regardless of what the passenger says or the driver says, he's already in violation of the law.
But if a cop admits, like on these forums, people have talked themselves into tickets, is that an admission of violating somebody's civil rights?
Again, if they already broke the law, okay, then technically, that being said, they broke the law. So whether they talk or not, they've already violated the law or the driving code. But again, to what you just said, if they're throwing stuff on top of it because he's a dick, or the one instance which you posted to where the guy isn't even giving back his paperwork because the guy's like, I'm going to remain silent. I don't want to answer questions. Yes, he's violating his constitutional rights because now he has seized his property, meaning his papers, literally in the Fourth Amendment, papers, person, and effects, and he's not returning them because of his attitude. The traffic citation itself, if he is guilty on camera speeding 30 over, doesn't matter what he says. He can write him the ticket either way. He's already broken the law. But if he's going to throw other things on top of that, which may or may not be legitimate, or not giving back the guy's paperwork, or again, adding other things on, 100% in violation. 100% in violation.
Do you think that that's...
And hold on. Yeah. Let me go to the court case. If the judge makes his ruling based on how the driver talked to the cop, that is 100% even more violation than the police officer, because now the judge is making his judgment based off the guy's attitude, not based off of the crime at hand, the facts.
I think anybody admitting that they wrote a citation based off of the behavior, the attitude of the driver, I think they are violating their civil rights. The example that I used was when I went to that use of force instructor class, and I never saw it this way. The greatest threat we ever had is shut your mouth or you're going to jail, right? All the time. And the instructor goes, okay, so you show up on scene, guy standing over his dead body, his wife's dead body, got a gun in his hands, drops it, you show up and said, I just killed my wife, and you go, shut the fuck up or you're going to jail. And he goes, but officer, I was just trying to tell you, I just shot my wife, and you cuff him. Dude, if I'm a defense attorney, I'm going, so did you handcuff him because of the crime or because what he said? Because we have you on body camera saying, shut the fuck up or you're going to jail. So that's fruit of the poisonous tree after that. I just think we have an epidemic of real shitty, stupid fucking cops out there who do not know that the authority that they have is not about bowing down and people kissing their asses on traffic stops to get out of citations. And it fucking just, it's in my craw. Wow. That's my 2 cents.
Well, Dominic, I think we have an overwhelming majority of shitty people
Yeah.
And whenever you put that person in a position of power, like a police officer, law enforcement agent, they actually have physical force power over you. They have actual power, including any government official. Whenever you have an entire culture of people that are complete pieces of shit and that is growing, then every position in any occupation, including government, which has power over the citizens, you're going to see more and more of this. The Constitution, you even said this, the cops don't even know the Constitution. The people don't know the Constitution. In that aspect, whenever no one knows the Constitution, and even people that do know it are refusing to defend against this oppression, against these constitutional deprivations, against these constitutional violations, then technically it is our fault for not standing up against it. I think the citizens need to get together. If there's law enforcement facilities, which means law enforcement departments, whether it's on a local level, county level, whatever, they need to gather as citizens and go down there and tell these people to fuck off. You're not going to do this shit anymore, or we're actually going to defend ourselves from these constitutional deprivations, which is a violation of U.S. law code, and we are willing to defend ourselves from you committing the crime. I don't give a fuck that you're a cop. I don't give a fuck that you're a judge. You're violating the law. We are citizens. We're allowed to defend ourselves from violent criminals. Go ahead, Scotty.
What an extremist you are, Matt. How dare you? It's a Matt's point here when you talk about people being informed, not knowing the Constitution. There's a verse in the Bible, and I don't know what book it's in. Actually, I could pull it up, but it says, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge."
Oh God,
and
yeah.
You're looking at society now. People are uninformed. They don't know. I mean, they just don't know their history. They don't know their facts. They don't know the Constitution. And I'm partly guilty of that too. This is a learning and education is a process through life, but you have to apply yourself. This podcast has given me the opportunity to be able to continue to read and educate myself, and I'm going to continue to do so. And I think it's important for people to know their rights, and most people don't know their rights.
It's sad.
Most people don't. And
it's
to your point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Law enforcement doesn't even know the Constitution. So
no, and that's so. And it's an imperfect system that does not have a solution, and it's human based. And what I'm tired of is the people using that argument. Well, you're going to find anything that's run by humans is going to have errors in it. There are certain things I don't want any error in. Any surgery, the law, I sure as hell don't want. Law enforcement, I don't. We had in my department when I left, we had 3 kids that were hired. And because they were so short-staffed, these kids who had no experience whatsoever were cut like 6 weeks early to be on their own in field training. And the problem is, unlike like any other job that I would be okay with, you learning and making mistakes as you go, right? You work in a pizza factory and maybe the dough is too fucking thick one day and the dough is too thin the next, and the sauce had too much spice. You're going to learn as you go. Yeah. Some people are not going to like their orders. You can refund it and kind of get their money back and all that shit. Dude, you can't pig pile on somebody, arrest them, fucking ruin their life, break their arm, all pepper spray them, all this shit, and go, oh, yeah, I didn't have probable cause on that one. That's a learning lesson. I guess I'll have to apply to the next one. It blows me away that we are so okay in a profession where, yeah, you evolve by learning through your mistakes, but your mistakes are made on other fucking people. And I have no solution for it, so my argument is kind of moot. Really quickly on this, I don't know if you guys heard about this one. I've actually said this should happen. Now that it happened, I don't know if I agree with it. Jennifer and James Crumbly found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for their failure to prevent their teenage son's deadly actions in Michigan's deadliest school shooting. They faced a sentence this past Tuesday, receiving each a term of 15 years in prison. These verdicts follow separate jury trials in February and March, mark a significant legal precedence as the Crumbleys become the first parents in the nation to be convicted for their child's role in a mass shooting. Was this good, or was this a real big fucking banana peel and open door?
Well, sure. It's a complete constitutional violation. It's a complete just disintegration of the law in general, right? They didn't kill anybody. Their son did. That's it. That's it. Bottom line. Second Amendment. Keep and bear arms. keep and bear arms.
Whoa.
I'm allowed to keep them. I'm allowed to bear them. I'm allowed to have them. I'm allowed to.
You clearly didn't see the most recent police shooting of the cop that went into the domestic and dropped the fucking guy who was holding a shotgun. You didn't see that one, did you?
I saw that one. I did.
Yeah, that one I'm torn on.
I didn't. But I'm talking about this case.
But that's
The
my
kid
point.
got
Is
a hold of a gun. Nope.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. My point is, if this kid picked up a shovel and killed a couple people, would it be an issue? No. If the kid picked up a knife and killed a couple people, would it be an issue? No. If the kid picked any item that exists, including gasoline that he can get at a gas station, and burned people, would the parents be responsible? No. But since it's something called a gun, then all of a sudden everyone changes their fucking narrative. It's total bullshit. But again, I tell this every week. The citizens put up with this bullshit, and they fucking deserve it. Because all they do is bitch and complain, and they don't do anything about it. This judge and the police officers, in my opinion, should be fucking charged, and then fucking hung. That's it.
Is there a responsibility to the parent to make sure their firearms locked up or in a safe place where someone else can't get it?
No, just
No, because the kid.
their shovel keep locked up, their knives keep locked up, their gasoline keep locked up, every item keep locked up. A pencil you can stab somebody. You can't lock up everything you can kill somebody with.
And then again, what's the bare minimum? Okay, now you create a new law in your town. Any town, USA, the state of whatever, has a new state law that says parents are responsible for locking up firearms. Okay, now what is the standard? You have to have it in a gun safe. You have to have it unloaded. It's unloaded, gun safe, magazine separate, one thing in one room, one the other. They're going to create a huge standard, but still, it's going to be accessed. If that kid drills a fucking hole in it, if the kid is a genius and he creates a lightsaber that can fucking cut the locks off, it still gets access to it. So even if the parents comply and say, we kept it locked up, how'd the kid get to it? I don't fucking know. Blame the manufacturer for the safe that didn't work. That's a fucking problem too. They're coming. I 100% believe they're coming after the guns. I saw that police shooting. I saw the domestic, and I couldn't. And granted, I wasn't there. The cop 100% was lawfully right to drop that guy. Didn't have to wait for the barrel to be raised. But at the same time, I went, damn. What's the fucking point of having guns if the police are just going to come in your home where nobody is and fucking kill you? What's the point?
Well, the first red flag law they issued in Maryland on the guy, they killed him.
That's a true story.
And they didn't even have a constitutional right to do it. The law is unconstitutional. I believe there's 18 or 20 states now that have red flag laws, completely unconstitutional. Any law that is created that violates or deprives or limits your privileges and immunities or deprives your life, liberty, and property is against the law. It is illegal according to Article 1 of the 14th Amendment. These laws shouldn't exist. They shouldn't even fucking exist. The National Firearms Act of 1934 should not exist. The people who were talking about passing that law before they passed it would have been arrested on the spot and then tried and then hung. But since we've been putting up with this bullshit forever and all we do is whine and complain about it, then this is going to continue to go on and cops will enforce it. Cops have been enforcing unconstitutional laws for over 100 years.
You saw
it's
that.
It's not going to stop. It's going to continue to get worse unless the citizens start rising up and literally defending themselves from this.
I said the COVID lockdowns.
Sorry.
COVID lockdowns was the litmus test for whether or not cops will show their true colors. And they did. They enforced they became the domestic fucking terrorists. I'm looking on my state. Illinois since 2018 has had red flag laws, and they've enforced one red flag law. Think about it. What they showed during COVID was, do you want your paycheck? Oh, you got a family, you got a mortgage, you got food. Do what we're told. Sarge says we're going to 123 Main Street today to kick down Jimmy's door because Jimmy's ex-girlfriend is pissed off that he was fucking somebody else. He's got guns in the house, so she says, I think he's going to kill himself. So let's go kick down his door. Yes, Sarge, let's go violate his civil rights because we're the new bootlickers. This is what it is. Force out the old guard. Get in the new yes, sirs. Yes, we'll do what we said. The people who don't know the Constitution, and how many liberals, just like the Hispanic gangs were infiltrating the military to wind up getting their tactics on fucking warfare, you're going to get fucking liberals who go, well, I'm going to go be a cop because I'm going to do things my way now and fucking infiltrate that. And then why not? You can't beat them, join them. I think 100% they are using law enforcement. They're coming after our guns and we're fucked. That's what I think.
Well, yeah, in this particular case, this is what you would call a landmark case because there's no precedent for this. This is the first of its kind where you're holding people responsible that did not actually commit the murder or commit these heinous acts. So there's something there that there's going to be interesting to see going forward. There's provisions called look-back provisions where in other states, say in New York or Florida, where there's been mass shootings, now you're opening up a door here where, let's say, parents of slain children from other states and other schools are going to go, oh, look, those parents are held responsible for that. We should now look at the parents that did the Parkland shooting. We should look at the parents that did this or that did this. So you're opening up a can of worms here that to me, to us, I think is obviously
parents whose kids get in DUI accidents. Yeah, parents whose kids get in DUI accidents and kill other people. Oh, you didn't keep your car locked up. You didn't keep your liquor cabinet locked up. It's going to be.
That's my point.
It's fucked. It's fucked. All right, tell us something good about the Burn Pit podcast. What are you guys going to be talking about the next couple of shows?
Well, last Monday we had a gentleman by the name of Dr. E. Michael Jones. He's an author, historian. He's been in education his whole entire life. He was very good. We're going to be joined again this coming Monday by E. Michael Jones, as well with
Dr. Alan Zabrowski.
Dr. Alan Zabrowski, who I affectionately call him Gunny. He was a gunnery sergeant in the United States Marine Corps during the Vietnam era. And another educated man, 82 years old, very sharp, not like the guy in the Oval Office. This is an 82-year-old man, still works out, still trains. The way he delivers his message on topics in education. Again, he taught at West Point. He taught at
former director of studies at the United States War College, headquarters Marine Corps, and with the Strategic Studies program.
That's right. He's a brilliant man, and so is E. Michael Jones. So for the two of those guys that are in their 70s and early 80s to come on and share some of their knowledge is amazing. We've had Dr. Alan Zabrowski on before.
Twice.
Yeah. He taught at Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
He was a professor at Johns Hopkins. Yeah. But here, if you look up Dr. Alan Zabrowski on Wikipedia, and again, he's a very soft-spoken gentleman that only talks history. He's already been labeled anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semite.
In my opinion, if you look at his resume, he has maybe the best resume in education I've ever seen from a United States Marine. Marines are known as being, crayon eaters and jarheads and numbskulls. And this guy is absolutely brilliant. He's a brilliant man with education, but he gets discredited because, and we're not going to get into this, obviously.
He has his own opinions of Israel. And
so the question is the question that we pose here with these guys is, if you're just critical of, say, policy in Israel, does that make you anti-Semitic, or is it? Are you allowed to question policy in the government without being labeled that way? It's again to the name calling of bigot, racist, anti-Semitic, homophobe, Islamophobe, all that stuff. They weaponize these words to get you to shut up and not talk about certain things.
It's losing its power.
And it is losing its power. The narrative is slowly being chipped away at, and that's what we do here at the Burn Pit Podcast at 4 o'clock every Monday on Spreely TV. Spreely's on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick. You can go to Spreely Social. You can get involved, comment on things. Spreely has a marketplace where you can look at. There's tons of products on there. There's 1-800-Flowers, My Pillow. There's Century H2O, Genesis Gold.
There you have it. There you go.
Cigars.
Burn Pit Podcast. Burn Pit Podcast, Mondays, 4 p.m. Eastern. Check them out. Fucking, and then you never know what's going to come out of their mouth next. That'll be the next clip on everything. That'll fucking be great. Guys, love having you on. Fucking, it's fantastic as always. That's it. It's Wednesday. Hope you guys love everything. Share the show. Share the love. Go to Spreely.com. Embrace the new free speech social media platform. You can literally say whatever you want. Don't be that person who goes on other platforms and says, I support small businesses, but you don't fucking support Spreely.com. Do it, or you're a communist piece of shit. It's as simple as that. Guys, have a great day on Wednesday. I think Lola's back tomorrow. She's feeling okay, so we'll see what happens. Whatever. I don't know. We'll have her on or we won't. Have a great damn day. Go help somebody. And if you can't help them, just don't fucking hurt them. Simple as that. See you guys tomorrow.